Imagine a concert venue deciding how to price tickets. If they lower ticket prices to attract more fans, they sell more seats, but at the cost of earning less per ticket. This trade-off highlights the relationship between a firm's demand curve and its marginal revenue. In this video, we'll explore how to calculate marginal revenue from demand and see why it always changes faster than the price.
All right, in this video, we're going to try to determine how a firm with market power or a monopoly is going to set price and choose quantity to maximize their profits. So the key here with market power is that there's going to be this fundamental trade-off between price and quantity, right? It's going to be this trade-off between selling a large quantity of items versus making more money, making a higher price on each item, right? So we're going to use our firm demand curve and the marginal revenue curve to evaluate this trade-off. First, though, I want to take us back to perfect competition, what we did in the last module, right, to show you how we had our marginal revenue curve for the perfectly competitive firm. So remember, we had a market supply and demand, with demand for the entire market, supply for the entire market, and that would determine the market equilibrium price of $25. Now, because our perfectly competitive firms over here were price takers, they're so small that their decisions don't affect the market price. They can increase production of corn or decrease production of corn. The market price still stays the same at $25. So what that means then is they could sell a little bit at $25 or a whole bunch at $25. The price stays the same. So the individual perfectly competitive firm would face a horizontal firm demand curve, okay, for this. So our marginal revenue here, right, let's say we want to sell this quantity of corn. Our revenue would be price times quantity, and we would get that blue box of revenue. We sell one more unit of corn. Well, now we're going to gain that price, and it'll add that to revenue. We didn't have to lower price on all these previous units. We still got the revenue for those previous units, right? We sell another one for that price, our revenue goes up. Sell another one for that price, our revenue goes up by the price. Sell another one for that price, our revenue goes up by the price. So our change in revenue, or our marginal revenue, is just going to be that extra price. Revenue goes up by the price every single unit you sell. There is no trade-off for these perfectly competitive firms between price and quantity for our revenue, right? They don't have to lower the price to sell more units. They can just keep on selling more units at the same price. All right, so that is a little bit of a side note. I think going through this is always helpful, is going to be helpful for you to understand what's going to happen now for our firms with market power. So a lot going on the slide. I'll walk through all this stuff, right? So we have our graph here with price and quantity. This is going to be measured in dollars. And now we have our firm demand curve, this downward sloping blue curve here. That's what's different between a firm with market power and perfect competition, where now our demand curve is not horizontal, it's going to be downward sloping for this, okay? So what we have then, the firm could charge this high price of PH, right? And they come out to the demand curve, and they would sell to the market QH, quantity high, right? Now that box that we have is going to be our revenue box of P times Q at that price and quantity combination for that high price. Well, the firm wants to sell more quantity, and to sell more quantity, they need to lower the price to do that, to P low, okay? The demand curve, they can't increase their quantity out to QL by keeping that same price, right? There's no point on the demand curve out here with that pH combination and that QL, right? Can't get out there. There's not enough people that want to buy pH, want to buy this product at a price of pH to get us out to that quantity low. Great. So they have to lower the price moving down that firm demand curve to get their quantity out. Great. So now the new revenue then for the lower price is going to be this box of PL times QL. like so. Great. So we have two changes here in terms of this change in revenue, right? We're trying to get our marginal revenue curve, and we have a change in revenue. This red box here, this is going to be in both cases, is in revenue. So that's not part of our change in revenue. Right? This upper box here, this is going to be gone. We're going to lose that. So this is going to be our loss box. Of lost revenue from lowering the price. Right? This is coming from a lower price on all those units up to QH that we used to sell. We're going to have some gain in revenue. The gain in revenue will be this pink box, our gain box, gained revenue from lowering the price and selling higher quantity. This is coming from quantity is going to increase out that way. Okay, right. So when I look here, I see that this gain box in revenue, the pink one, is bigger than this negative loss box. So we could like subtract that out here, like visualizing, get the net change, and that net change is going to be positive here. So we have positive marginal revenue from lowering the price, and that's where we're going to imagine doing this of lowering the price, lowering the price, lowering the price, getting all these changes in revenue of these changes in boxes, and then plotting out that curve. That's where this marginal revenue curve comes from, right here. Okay. And then we're going to have different. Marginal revenue is not going to be the same as our firm demand curve. It's going to be lower. It's going to be below that firm demand curve because of what's called this discount effect. Right? That discount effect is going to be the revenue lost from cutting the price on all the units sold. And so this yellow box here, the loss box, is coming from this discount effect. And that's what's causing our marginal revenue curve to be lower than the demand curve.